and get started. Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow. Okay. That's good. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Good afternoon. Man, it's a little bit lighter than it was yesterday and today. But that's all right. We'll we'll get to know each other a little bit. Um, I've been asked to come and give y'all a talk on cybersecurity best practices. So today is I did this all day yesterday for every hour and a half. I'm doing it today every hour and a half, and I'll be doing this again tomorrow for every hour and a half. That's a lot. So I'm losing my voice a little bit. I'm gonna need y'all to help me out. Please don't let me talk the whole time. Please raise your hand, ask questions. Clyde, I seen this on my laptop, or artificial intelligence is taking over my house, or whatever the case may be. Please be engaging and talking so I don't have to talk the whole time. So my name is Clyde Rourke, and I work for the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. We are an agency underneath the Department of Homeland Security. So I'm what they call a cybersecurity advisor, and I assist organizations that are part of the critical infrastructure of the United States. We'll go over some of those with cybersecurity. So I also work for the Navy Reserves. I'm what they call a cryptologic warfare officer. Cryptologic warfare officer. What we do is we conduct information warfare, and that includes cyber operation and other information type operations. And then I come and work for the Department of Homeland Security as underneath the agency CISA. So there is, I'm going to show you a little 2-minute video on just exactly what CISA is, what we do, our mission is.
In a globally interconnected world with interdependent infrastructure, threats to one are a threat to all. That's where the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, leads the effort to strengthen our collective defense. Established in 2018, we are America's cyber defense agency. We are also the national coordinator for critical infrastructure security and resilience. CISA provides federal network defense and helps increase cybersecurity nationally and internationally. We provide information, tools, training, and resources to help reduce risk to critical infrastructure, whether from physical threats like bombs and active shooters, or from cyber threats from nation-states and other malicious actors. We also support interoperable telecommunications, making sure our nation's emergency communicators can connect in an incident. And we are the lead federal agency responsible for securing our elections. Operational collaboration is foundational to our mission. We work with partners across the globe, from industry, federal, state, local, tribal, territorial, and international governments, to nonprofits, academia, and the research community. And with people located across the country, we work where you work. Visit CISA.gov to learn more and connect with us on social media.
So she does a lot better job of explaining CISA than I do. Plus, I don't want that much. But as you can see from the video, our mission is to defend the critical infrastructure of states. And that includes state, local, and tribal governments, which is one of the biggest sector of the 16 sectors of critical infrastructure. We also defend critical infrastructure like water, wastewater, electrical grid, things like that. And what I'm going to go over in the next couple of slides is things that you can do to defend yourself, not only here at work, but at home as well. So you may see things that maybe your parents or your loved ones are starting to see, and we're going to talk about those things and how you defend yourself against those items. Because of that, we become the nation's risk manager. So we have access to a lot of critical, top secret information. I have a top secret clearance. I would imagine most people in here do not. So when I get threat intel from different three-letter agencies like the FBI, NSA, CIA, I take that information and then I kind of desanitize it and I figure out how risky it is, how much risk that threat is to the nation, and then I deliver that mitigation strategy to y'all. And one of those deliverance methods is me coming here talking to all of y'all. So again, like I was telling you earlier, got a lot of employees here. So I did all this yesterday, doing it today, and I'm gonna do it all again tomorrow, every hour and a half. What the good part is you guys are getting this information and hopefully taking it home with you to help you and your loved ones. As far as the nation's risk, one of the biggest risks to us right now is China. We know through intelligence that China is deep within our critical infrastructure, meaning they have hacked into our networks. They have hacked into our local governments. They have hacked into our water and wastewater. They have hacked into different healthcare systems. Why? Why are they there? Well, we know that they're there to collect intelligence. China knows that we know that they are there. So it's this weird cat and mouse chess game that we're playing with China and how we're detecting them and what we're doing. One of the ways that we're to detect them and kick them out is by me giving you the cybersecurity briefing. We're going to go over things that adversaries are doing and what you can do to defend yourself against them. So China is collecting intelligence on us. The reason we think they're collecting intelligence is to gather how we operate, what we care about, how we run our water and wastewater systems, how we run our sanitation systems, how we fix our nation's roads. They are looking at all that information, for one, probably to help them do it themselves, because they are growing really fast, and two, to use that against us at some point. China has stated, President Xi Jinping, the president of China, has stated that they are going to take back Taiwan. You can Google the history of Taiwan. You can see the history where it used to belong to Taiwan was part of them at some point in time. Does anybody know why China would want Taiwan? That's right. Yes. Chips, semiconductors, electronics. A lot of that comes out of Taiwan. So they want that. China wants that. The rest of the world does not. They do not want us to go. China wants it. We want China to stay out. So at some point, we're predicting that they may want to try to create some type of disruption here in the United States and take our mind away from what they're doing over there next to Taiwan and the South China Sea. So how do we thwart and get the adversary out? Well, there is 6 divisions to CISA. What's really cool is out of one of those 6 divisions, called the Cybersecurity Division, there are, like if you ever watch some of the movies, you got like a dark, giant room, and there's no windows, and in this room, there's a bunch of screens on the wall with a bunch of like gibberish and network data and maps of data flying all across the place. And then down on the floor of this giant room are analysts, rows and rows of analysts, kind of like you see in movies in Hollywood. Well, that is actually what it looks like. We here in Pensacola at Corey Station, there is a watch floor where there are analysts doing exactly that and looking at the screens, looking at their computers and rows of them, looking for our adversary, China and kicking out that adversary out of our critical infrastructure and then kind of closing the door behind them so they can't come back in. We used to be more worried about some type of kinetic action where we had maybe we were more concerned about nuclear strikes from Cuba back in the day, or maybe there was a movie called Red Dawn where the communists invaded the United States. Well, there's not so much of that going on anymore. Not so much that we're worried about it. It's now an invasion of the cybersecurity space. So now there's all these other countries trying to evade each other's cybersecurity space in their IT networks. That is a new invasion. That's the new war we're fighting nowadays. Gone are kind of the days where they're mostly kinetic. As far as the United States is concerned, we're very much focused on our critical infrastructure. So there's 16 sectors to the critical infrastructure. I'm not going to read them all. I know they're hard to read, but I mentioned a few of them: the grid, dams, water, wastewater, local governments, healthcare. These are the 16 infrastructures that the United States has said, hey, this is detrimental to our way of life. If something was to happen to one of these critical infrastructures, we need to focus our efforts on defending this. So that's one of my jobs and missions is to defend the critical infrastructure from cyber attack. So I am what they call a cybersecurity advisor, and we're going to go over a little bit about cybersecurity advisors. But before we do any of that, we're going to look at some fun videos, fun images, pictures, maybe talk about companies and different people. All that in this presentation does not represent or indicate an endorsement by the federal government or CISA. Right? So I have to say that because we're the federal government. We're supposed to be non-biased. Everybody has a fair chance. So when you see these images or talk about certain companies or whatever, please don't go back and say, oh, Clyde said this is better than that or that's better than this. These are all examples. These are not, I'm not endorsing any specific company or person. So, cybersecurity advisor, I used to work in that building where there's rows and rows of analysts right down here in Pensacola and Corey Station on a Navy base, where all they're doing that cool nerdy stuff. I used to be the operations chief there, but I love those guys. They're a little difficult, and gals. They're a little difficult to have a one-on-one conversation with because they're super smart and super eclectic, and those individuals are the ones that we want defending our critical infrastructure. But now I'm in this position. In this position, fully remote. Thank God I don't have to be a supervisor for those people anymore. Love them, and I still hang out with them. But I'm full. I get to be here and be out in the public and engage with critical infrastructure stakeholders like y'all. One of the things I do is I do assessments, whether it's like technical assessments where I get people to try to hack into your network, or I can do things like I'm doing now, where I'm doing outreach and where organizations ask me to come and give speeches and talks about cybersecurity and what the nation is doing. So if you look at all the risks, here's just a few of them. Let's concentrate on hurricanes and extreme weather. If a hurricane came through here, a hurricane could knock out our power. A hurricane can take out our water and wastewater facilities. A hurricane can lock down an IT network so you can't get to it. All of those things can be done with a cyber attack. So I can do, or a malicious actor can have the same effect by conducting a cyber attack as a hurricane can when it comes through. A malicious attacker can shut down water and wastewater through cyber means. They can shut down the power grid through cyber means. They can crush 9/11 services through cyber means. All these risks, pandemic, accident, acts of terror, all can be covered by a cyber attack and cyber threats. And we're going to go over some of those cyber threats. How many of y'all have heard of ransomware? Ransomware? Yep. Most everybody hears about ransomware. It's in the news. It's pretty prominent. It's pretty popular. It's right now is the most effective way to lock down a network. And we see it every day. It happens every day, all the time. And it's usually done through something called business email compromise. And business email compromise is a type of email that you get that is fraudulent in nature and is trying to get you to do something that you wouldn't suspect. So whether you get a business email compromise at home, maybe you'll see and get an email that says, if you bank at Wells Fargo, I'm just using Wells Fargo. Well, Wells Fargo sends you an email to your home account, to your personal Gmail account, and it says, we detected fraudulent activity on your account. You're like, oh man, that's not good. And then it says, to verify this, please click on this link. And then when you click on the link, it asks you for information. Give us your username and password. Give us your account number, and we will verify for you that your account is not compromised. Well, that typically is not true. And once you do that, you just given the adversary your account information. And usually these emails are developed using artificial intelligence. Who remembers back in the day when you used to get emails that said your second cousin is an African prince and he's in jail, and if you send him $500, when he gets out of jail, he'll send you $5,000. Remember those emails from back in the day? Yeah, we used to get those emails all the time. But now we, as humans, right, and people, we can detect that is fake. That is fake. We know this. We've seen this before. We know this is not true. Well, now, utilizing artificial intelligence, they can craft emails that are so specific to you because the AI is scraping the internet for your information and using that information to craft an email against you that you may not be able to detect that email is fake. Well, how does it know that I work for the city or for the county? How does it know that I work in the roads department? Or how does it know I work in animal control? That's the only person that can do that must be somebody that's real. I'm going to go ahead and answer this email, give them my information, because there's no way that they can know this without being a legit person. Well, artificial intelligence is giving the adversary that advantage over us. And we're going to talk about artificial intelligence and business email compromises and what exactly we can do to help defend ourselves and detect that. So why? Why would somebody want to pick out y'all out of every other human being in there? Well, you guys, believe it or not, are easy targets because you work for a local public government. Y'all work for work for the local government, which makes you a very juicy target. Now, what adversaries will typically do is they'll send out a blast email to everybody that works in the either for the city or for the county. And when they do that, all they need is one person to click. And once that one person clicks, so if it's 1 out of 600, great, that's fine. It could be someone clicking on their phone because they have access to their phone, to their email, work email on their phone, or whatever the case may be. Once you click on that, maybe it's a link that says, hey, I need you to check your W-2 or for information, make sure it's correct, and it looks like it came from HR. If it's AI developed and generated, you'll probably click on it. Again, it only takes us one. And once you do that, it starts going through the network and picking out, it executes a mission, what they call a fact-finding program, where it looks for files. And we're going to go over some of those files that it's looking for. So who could be attacking us? Well, we talked a little bit about China. If you think about nation-state actors like China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran, by the way, those are the ones that are most that we're most concerned about at this time, because they want to cause us harm. But that's one whole country's resources. Russia versus Mobile. That is like a David and Goliath scenario. And that is exactly what's happening. They're going after these small cities and trying to target them because they know that if something was to happen to the city, to the local government, it gets published in the news. And once it gets published in the news, the citizens start to panic. And when the citizens start to panic, then we have lots of other issues. The more news and more bad press we get, the more it's harder to put out those fires. So they understand that. Mid to low level criminals, those are ransomware gangs. And when I say ransomware gangs, I'm not talking about a ragtag group of people spread out. These ransomware gangs are now organizations. So they have their own HR, they have their own 401ks. They are organized criminals that run legitimate, I don't know, legitimate is a loose term, but run businesses. And they're very efficient at doing ransomware. And they know how to target you. They know how to target you versus utilizing AI. And then you have insider threats. Insider threats are people typically who are upset and maybe they got fired and they weren't happy about how it was handled. They typically will leave their account open or sell their account to an adversary. You can go on the dark web and there are people looking for your account information for you to sell to them. I'm not going to tell you how much money it is or the average is, but there are organizations looking to buy your account information. So how many people in here have a TikTok, has a TikTok account? We have TikTok? No one has TikTok in here? Do what? China bad. No one has TikTok. I'm not saying TikTok is bad. Politicians use TikTok. TikTok is a huge social media platform. TikTok is banned for federal employees. We're not allowed to have a TikTok account. But I know lots of my friends that don't work in the federal government, they have TikTok accounts. The thing about TikTok is that it is an intelligence gathering platform for China. So China bad, yes. They're using that because they want to know what we're interested in. They want to see like, hey, what are they buying? What's the Americans looking at right now? I think we're pretty hot on the fires in California, right? We're really interested in that. We also know that they're very interested in our way of life. They use that information to make something that's more targeted to the American public when it comes to maybe conducting some type of attack, or maybe they want to influence us in a certain way, maybe take away our willingness to fight or go into conflict with China, whatever the case may be, to feed us deceptive news. They're probably going to do it. Who here has a LinkedIn account? Somebody's got to raise their hand. Okay. Yeah, LinkedIn. LinkedIn's great. It's a great way to network. It's a good way to look for new jobs. You can find opportunities on LinkedIn. The thing about LinkedIn, though, is we put so much information on LinkedIn about ourselves. I have a LinkedIn account. It shows that I work for the federal government. I am a CISA employee. I'm required to have one. So the adversaries know that. So the adversaries could send me targeted emails. Hey, Clyde, this is so-and-so from CISA headquarters. I saw that you recently did a presentation at Mobile. I really need you to click on this presentation and review it for me because I'm about to give a presentation to Nashville. Well, I wouldn't do that, but that's a targeted email towards me based off of social media information that the adversary has found. So we got to be very careful when we're going through our social media accounts and what we put out there. There are some people, I'm not saying that's anybody here, but there's some people who put out so much information on Facebook. So much information. Like I'm having a birthday party for my 6-year-old cat, or I'm having people over to help celebrate a Mardi Gras pre-party. I want to invite so and so and so and so, and you take a picture and you got all these people tagged in the picture and everything. Well, AI can scrape that information and then deliver a pointed phishing campaign against you. So you can go into ChatGPT, for example, type in there, I want to make a phishing email against the animal control department at Mobile. Make it 2 paragraphs long. The more detail you put in it, the better ChatGPT works. Make it urgent, and I want it to talk about something about their bank account. And within seconds, it does it. And it'll start spitting out detailed information about animal control department that you probably didn't even know, but it found it on the internet. That's what AI does. We're noticing that the adversaries are using AI more and more, and it's scraping the internet for information, like your social media. So, back in 2019, the average ransom was $115,000. So if your organization got ransomed, 115. Today it's $2.73 million. It's $2.73 million. Who remembers the movie Die Hard? Anybody remember the movie? Yes, thank you. Die Hard. So Die Hard, right? It's a gang breaks into a building. They have weapons. They're getting shot at. The police are shooting at them. It's high risk, high loss of life. And then towards the end, they hold it for ransom, and they said, "Hey, we're holding these people hostages in this building ransom. We need some money and a helicopter on the roof. And then once we do that, then we'll let the people go." Well, since then, that was the way we used to ransom buildings and organizations and people. Now we can do it within a few clicks. So now we don't have to sit there and break down a building. 2.73 million, an adversary can hold an organization ransom. And typically, an organization will pay 2.73 million. Let's say you got an email from your bank, and you look at it and it says, "Hey, again, fraudulent activity was detected. We need you to click on this link, and we'll help you. We'll help you defend your account." You click on the link, and then once you put that information in, they will lock. This happens more. It's sad how often this happens. The adversary within will lock down your computer, and they will tell you, "We have access to your bank, and we know that you have $10,000 in your bank." The reason they know is because a few weeks earlier, you clicked on a link from a phishing email, and they were watching all of your files, and they found your bank statement. So then they know, like, okay, we see your bank statement has $10,000. They lock down your computer and say, "Give us $5,000, and we'll unlock your computer and won't take your $10,000. Well, if you didn't know better, whether they can get into your account or not, they're just trying to scare you. You may pay the $5,000 to prevent them from taking the $10,000. It happens all the time. We work very closely with the FBI down the road. We see things like this happen all the time. The highest paid ransom last year was $75 million. Can you imagine $75 million, and all someone did was a couple clicks to blast out a bunch of emails out to this organization. And somebody in that organization clicked on something they shouldn't have, on a link or something. People want free stuff, so they might have said you got free stuff, or somebody might have sent an AI-generated email that was very pointed and directed. Maybe something about your kid's account was hacked at school, and they need to verify, click on this link or whatever. It's AI can be very, very pointed, and it's extremely hard to detect. Does anybody know why the federal government does not recommend paying ransoms? right? We don't negotiate with terrorists. Tropic Thunder. What, what we do, yes, we recommend not paying the ransom because that is a business for them. So the ransomware gangs, if you're paying them and they're successful in grabbing your money, why would they stop? If we stop paying them, then maybe they'll quit. However, the problem is, let's say you ransom, and this happens a lot, they ransomed a hospital, right? The ransomware gang ransomed a hospital. The ransomware gang says, you better pay us. You have usually 24 hours, come to this negotiation table, which is usually a chat room. They send you a link to a chat room. They say, come to the negotiation table immediately, or we will not lock down your, or we will not unlock your network. Well, if you're a hospital, you can't wait 24 hours. You got patients, there's surgeries, there's things going on, there's loss of life. So you may have to pay. If you're a hospital or if you're in a critical state, you may have to pay. So that's why CISA says, and the federal government discourages. We don't want to say stop you from paying a ransom because it's a business decision, but we strongly discourage because we do not want to give them incentive to continue their malicious activity. Another thing I want to bring to your attention is I highly suggest that you do not store your personal information on your work computer, on your work servers, or within your work network. That personal information can include social security numbers. I also highly recommend you do not store pictures of personal pictures on your laptop. And when I'm talking about personal pictures, I'm not only talking about personal pictures of yourself, but I'm talking about sensitive personal pictures. We see this all the time. Somebody somewhere stores very personal photos that no one else should be looking at on their work computer. Ransomware gangs love that. They love those photos. Do you know why they love those photos? Blackmail. That's right. For blackmail. They will extort you. We're seeing now that ransomware gangs are extorting organizations more than ever. So now they're doing two things. Not only did they lock your network down or your home computer, they got your personal photos. You do not, if you have those types of photos on your work computer, there's some other issues going on there. Maybe you shouldn't even be doing those bad things to begin with. But however, they love that because then they can extort you and blackmail you. And then they will say, hey, if you do not come to the negotiation table, not only is your network locked down, but we're going to start posting these pictures. And they'll send you the pictures. Like, here, this is you. These are pictures of you. This is what you were doing. I'm sure you don't want your significant other seeing these pictures, right? So they will extort you, and they will use that against you. So that creates a sense of urgency, which draws you to the negotiation table a lot quicker. And again, it's usually a link. It's usually a link that takes you to a chat room, a secure chat room, where you are negotiating with those ransomware gangs. This happened at the city of Oakland. City of Oakland in 2023 was ransomwared, and they were extorted. They had lots and lots of information about citizens, about investigations, the ransomware gang had information about employees and pictures of employees. It was not a good situation for the city of Oakland. The city of Oakland now is facing a couple lawsuits from their employees because they said they did not lock down their network well enough, which creates a lot of havoc. Even if the city of Oakland did do their due diligence, it still creates a lot of havoc and a lot of unnecessary actions and slows down other people's and other networks and other things that you guys may be wanting to do within your own city. By the way, it's funny if you ever look at ransom notes, Usually it will be on your screen. It'll say, this ransomware gang, we are here, we have ransomed your computer, your network. Click on this link. If this link doesn't work, contact us. Those ransomware gangs have the best help desk ever. They are so attentive. If you click on the link and it doesn't take you to the chat room and you call their help desk, it is like a legit help desk. It's like, hey, thanks for calling Play Ransomware. How can I help you today? Like, they are so nice. So, oh, we're sorry that the chat isn't working. Have you tried clicking on this? Have you tried doing it? Here, we'll send you another link. Why do you think they're so helpful? Yes, they want the money, right? They want the money. So they will be more than happy to help you get to the negotiation table. Or if you say, hey, I don't know how to send Bitcoin, or I don't know how to send cryptocurrency. Oh, they'll help you. They will be more than happy to help you. It almost you kind of wish like all help desks and all people that you call. And you call the bank, you wish the bank was this nice, right? It's crazy. It's so crazy. Best help desk ever. How many people have Amazon accounts? How many people get the text that says your package has been locked up? Yeah, right? I get those. I get those all the time. Those are not real. Those are fake. You click on there, they ask you for information. They say, please click here or click on this link, and you enter information into that. Then you just gave the adversary all your information. This is just an example of a phishing email with a link in it. And you think you're getting your package, but it's really you're giving the adversary information. Again, very targeted, very effective. So we kind of talked a little bit about business email compromise. The one we see the most is where an organization will get an email about paying a invoice from a vendor that you're doing business with, because the adversary's already done their homework and done their intelligence on you and research, and they realize you do business. Let's say, for example, the company Caterpillar, who does heavy equipment. You get an email from the company of Caterpillar. HR accounts payable looks at it, and you're like, oh yeah, we do business with Caterpillar. That makes sense. The invoice is a legit invoice. It is just like the regular invoices you always get from Caterpillar, except in the email it says we've changed account numbers and routing numbers, and we have a new bank now. So send payment to this. Well, you're like, this is my job to pay invoices. I'm going to take care of it. That money gets sent. 2 weeks later, you get an email from Caterpillar saying, hey, we sent you an invoice. How come you didn't pay it? And you're like, well, no, here's the proof. I paid it. You can see the wire transaction here. Well, that was to the wrong bank. That happens all the time. All the time it happens. So much so that it's ran up to $55 billion between 2013 and 2023. That's how much money organizations are losing. And that's just through sending wire transfer from one account that changed to another account. And that's because people want to do their job. They typically want to be helpful. They want to make sure accounts are paid, money's paid. This happened to the city of Lexington. They lost $1.2 million over a course of a few months for the city of Lexington. They were paying invoices over a period of time, and then when that over a couple of months, and it took them that long before the real vendor, reached out and said, well, you haven't paid us in months. And the city of Lexington was like, yeah, we have. Here's the proof. And that vendor was like, that's not us. Though that's our invoice. That is definitely our invoice, but that is not us. So what they learned from that is ask. Anytime your bank sends you an email that says, hey, your account's been locked up, do not call the number that's in that email. Call the bank itself. So if you do business in Wells Fargo, call Wells Fargo. Call up Wells Fargo and say, hey, I got an email from you. This looks weird. I don't believe this. And they're like, nope, yep, thanks for calling. That is definitely not us. Ignore that. Or if you get an invoice and they say they're changing the bank account, make it your policy to call up that company and make sure that they, in fact, did want to change where that money is being transferred. Yes, ma'am. Oh, they'll fill them out. Oh yeah, they'll fill out the forms for you for sure. They'll be more than happy to fill out the forms for you. Which, but what does that filling out the forms do, right? They'll fill it out. I'm like, so what? Okay, whatever. Here, yeah, we'll do it. Send it here. Send it here. Here's my signature. Right? Okay. I mean, it's now the best thing to do is to call somebody. And all these are typically generated. The adversary is using artificial intelligence to generate these emails and these invoices. They just got to go into Chat GPT. I'm using Chat GPT because everyone knows it, but there's a bunch of other ones. And ask Chat GPT, hey, send me an invoice from Caterpillar company, and it will pop out an invoice that looks just like the real one does. It's crazy what artificial intelligence is doing. It's making anyone capable of being a hacker. And we're going to go over some artificial intelligence. Oh, how many people recognize the top robot? Not too many people know this. You recognize the top? Who is it, sir? Yeah, Johnny Five. Johnny Five. Do you remember the movie? Yes, Short Circuit. So I'm not going to, this might age myself a little bit, but this movie came out, I think, in the late 80s. And it's about a military robot. The top robot's a military robot developed by the military to be a military weapon. I think there was 6 of them made in this movie. He's number 5, that's where Johnny number 5 comes from. He gets struck by lightning and gains artificial intelligence. So he becomes friendly. He's a friendly robot. The humans that are working with him notice that he's now a friendly robot with a personality, so they're trying to save him. So here he's hiding from the military. We're trying to get him back. Then we have the robot on the bottom. And everybody recognizes that. That's an iconic robot. Everybody knows that's Terminator. Terminator's here to destroy everyone. And that's what everybody kind of thinks artificial intelligence is. When I talk about artificial intelligence, I always get asked the question, are they going to take over? Are they going to take our job? Who's regulating artificial intelligence? What if it takes over the world? Well, we created artificial intelligence. We created humans, us. We created artificial intelligence to help us. And one of the best examples I like to give about how artificial intelligence is helping us is in the medical field. So you go to the doctor, you get an MRI scan, and you tell the doctor, here are my symptoms. These are my symptoms. The doctor looks at the scan, looks at your symptoms, and says, well, based off this, I think you have, this is my diagnosis, I think you have this, here's the procedure. Off your doctor's experience and knowledge level. Well, now they're using artificial intelligence, and they're giving artificial intelligence that scan, those symptoms, and telling artificial intelligence to tell the doctor what is wrong with you. And what artificial intelligence is doing is it's going out to all the scans it's ever seen, all the information about those symptoms, all the doctors, all the hospitals that ever put information into the system. It is scraping that information, and now it's taking that information and giving you a diagnosis and a procedure. So it is 100 or how many ever times more accurate than it would be if it was just that one doctor and that one doctor's experience. Does that make sense? Right? Now artificial intelligence is gathering information from everywhere, from all the MRIs and all the symptoms, and notifying that doctor based off the world and the information that I'm seeing, this is what I think it is, which is way more, maybe not so much intelligent, but way more information available to AI than there is to one single human being. So that's where we're getting artificial intelligence to kind of help us out. In 1642, they developed the first calculator. 1642 is the first calculator. There's no electronics in that calculator. It's just a box of wheels and cogs, and it's very ingenious for the time how this person created it. You can go on YouTube and see how it works, and it shows how the gears and cogs work. How many people have a Roomba at their house? Anybody have a Roomba at their house? Yeah, I have one. A Roomba. They're pretty, I have 2 dogs, very helpful. The Roomba I believe, came out in 2002. Now it's only gotten smarter since then. I can tell my Roomba to go to a certain room. I can tell the Roomba to map out my house. It does things in lines, and then once it gets full, it goes empty itself, and it comes back where it's left off, and continue to go. What about Alexa? Who has Alexa in here? I have Alexa. Yeah. Alexa was built to be our assistant, to assist us with certain tasks. Alexa, turn on the HVAC, turn on the AC, turn on the heater. Really, it was built by Amazon to help you buy more stuff. That's what Alexa really is built for. Humans, us, not really humans, but us here in the United States, we love stuff. We buy lots of stuff. So Amazon is capitalizing on that. And then in 4 years, the Terminator will be here. So it goes from Alexa, who's really nice. She's going to turn into Terminator in 4 years. So I hope you guys are ready and prepare yourselves. Build your bunkers now. Oh, who has seen the news yesterday about Trump marrying Kamala? Y'all seen that? About President Trump? You guys haven't seen that in the news? No? You haven't seen this? You haven't seen the wedding photos? Really? All right. Well, obviously this is not real. They are not getting married. We know that. But look how real it looks. That is what an AI-generated image. Something used to be deceptive. The adversaries use images and AI to be extremely deceptive. If you don't live in the United States and you're not a U.S. citizen, you may think that that's real. You don't know. They may think, oh, wow, they are really getting married. But us here in the States know that would probably never, ever happen. But that's how AI is changing the game. And that's how it's deceiving human beings. How many people have seen Arnold sing I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston? Have y'all seen that? Have y'all seen him do that? You haven't seen him sing I Want to Dance with Somebody? He is really good at it. Well, y'all are in for a treat because he's going to sing it for you right now.
Clock strikes upon the hour and the sun begins to fade.
Well, let's do this. That's why. Was this showing the slides up there earlier, or y'all just let me talk without slides? Okay, good. Oh, no. Play.
Still enough time to figure out how to chase my boobs away. I've done alright up till now. In the light of day that shows me how. It's when the night falls. It's when the night falls. My loneliness calls. Oh, to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody.
Well, we all know that's not true, but that is an AI-generated video. Anybody can take an image. All I need, I did an assessment or a brief on AI a couple months ago, and all I did was I recorded a volunteer student saying two sentences. That's all I needed. And I created a video of her saying the most outlandish things ever. Whatever I wanted her to say, I made her say it. And it's her moving her mouth. I can make her look excited. I can make her look angry. I can make her look happy. All AI generated. And the adversary uses that to deceive you. So we have one case where a young family went to Mexico on vacation. When they got to Mexico, they checked in. And as soon as they checked in, the grandmother here in the States got a phone call. Got a phone call from her daughter, and it was something like, "Oh my gosh, we've been kidnapped. The cartels has got us. We're so scared. They said that if you do not send us $30,000, they're going to start hurting us. They're going to start hurting little Susie. They're going to start hurting me. You got to do something. You have to send $30,000 to this account, wire to this account, and if you call the cops, they're going to know. Do not call the cops." Click. So the grandmother was scrounging around with the grandfather, panicking, crying, worrying, trying to get $30,000 together, going to talk to her family, her friends, the different banks. They could not get the money together. So the grandmother calls the daughter and says, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We can't get the money together. Please tell the cartel we need extra time. We need extra time. Give us another day. We'll get the money together. I promise. Tell them not to hurt you." And the daughter's like, "What the heck are you talking about? We're checked in. Everything's fine. We're at the hotel. There's nothing wrong. What do you mean? What do you mean this is a cartel?" So what happened was the adversary or this malicious actor got her voice off her voicemail, recorded it, stuck it into AI, and then played back whatever they wanted her grandmother to hear. They could do that. They could use that utilizing AI. Super scary. Good thing the grandmother called, or she may have sent the money off. And that person would have had the money, or that gang or whatever might have had the money, and we could not recover it. If you do send off money and if you do get hacked, the FBI can freeze funds. So, but there is a there is a shelf life for that. If you, for some reason, you realize that someone, you or your family, sent money from your bank account because you got had by artificial intelligence, which everyone is susceptible to, even large organizations like Google and Lowe's and Home Depot, you can call the FBI. And the FBI, but you got to call them pretty quick. In some point, they can recover your money, or at least some of your money, before it gets too far and they can no longer get to it. When you utilize AI, anybody in this room can be a hacker. Anybody. Doesn't matter if you have programming experience, doesn't matter if you're horrible at trying to deceive someone and writing emails. You type into ChatGPT, again, I'm just using ChatGPT as an example. You type into ChatGPT, create a phishing email, and again, the more detail you give it, even if you target someone, you don't like someone, you put their name in there, it'll go and scrape information off the internet and find out information about that person and send them a targeted phishing email within seconds. It'll develop that within seconds. Makes anybody a hacker. It's really hard to detect. I always make sure I say please and thank you to Alexa when she does something. So when she does take over the world, she'll hopefully spare my life. So I suggest you guys do the same, like this comics here says. So what can we do? Well, one of the things we can do is attend training. You guys are here now. You guys are attending the training. You're gathering this information, and you know what to do when something like this occurs because you've seen it. So you could be like, well, I remember sitting in this presentation after lunch, tired, but I do remember Clyde saying, well, I think his name is Clyde anyways. Who would name his kid Clyde? I think that he said to question this email. And I'm going to call my bank because I don't know if this is true. Well, that's great. You guys are here in that training. You know that. Another way you can defend yourself is something called multi-factor authentication. So when I log into my bank, it asks for my username and password. That is something I know, that I have memorized. The next thing my bank does is says, okay, we are going to send you a text message with a 6-letter digit code. When you get that code, put that code inside, enter the code here on this prompt. Well, that is something you have. Your phone is something you have. So that's the second thing. 1, username and password, something you know. 2, something you have, your phone. That's called multi-factor authentication. I have that enabled on all my accounts. So even if someone hacked into your computer and got your username and password, they do not have your phone. You do. So they can enter your username and password in your bank account all they want. You will get a text, if you have it enabled, that says, that has a code on it. Now, if you did not initiate that, if that was not you, then you can probably guess that someone has hacked into your account and is using your username and password trying to get to you. And you can go and change your username and password. Multi-factor authentication is the easiest way to thwart a cyber attack. There are multiple ways to protect yourself and defend yourself. These are just some of them. I just gave you two of the most important ones that I think. It's training and enabling multi-factor authentication, which you got to usually do on your own because it's usually disabled by default. So I have it on I enable it on Gmail, I enable it on all my bank accounts, PayPal, Venmo. I enable multi-factor authentication on all of them. You have to go and enable it on their website. So I want to give everybody a chance to ask questions. Are there any questions from anybody about anything we went over, about any of your experiences, anything you're experiencing at home, anything about artificial intelligence? Are there any questions about any of that? No? Well, that's good. Last couple of sessions, there were lots and lots of questions. So if you don't have any questions, that's okay with me. Well, thanks for coming. That's all I got.